Hi, posting and toasting. It's Seth. The Knicks lost to the Celtics last night. That still really hurts me because I hate the Celtics. I hate them so much. But New York started that game playing pretty well. The pick and roll looked good. They were defending and rotating pretty nicely, but they just really fell apart down the stretch. And the big narrative coming from that is Carmelo Anthony's little meltdown with Kevin Garnett and all the stuff that occurred after the game. But I would attribute most of the reason that stuff happened to the way the Knicks were defending. Melo wasn't assigned to guard Kevin Garnett, but he kept switching, and that switching was typical of the Knicks defense when it's at its worst, and was one of the major issues they had against the Celtics last night. So I'd like to look at a few of those plays where they switched and just illustrate how it caused some trouble for the rest of the defense. So in the early going, the Knicks' rotations and just general defense were pretty fine, but around the time the second quarter began, things started to fall apart. And it wasn't just the switching, but the lack of communication surrounding those switches. So like on this play, you'll see Paul Pierce run over a screen, and for a moment, three Knicks think they have to go defend him. Eventually, Ronnie Brewer gets out of the way, and you have Amari Stoudemire switched on him, which isn't ideal. And when Pierce goes to set a pick, both Amari and J.R. Smith stick with Jeff Green, and Pierce is pretty much wide open for a three with the late arriving closeout. And here's a play from earlier in the second quarter where J.R. Smith gets switched onto Paul Pierce. And again, it's the Celtics didn't do much to force the switch. They just ran some basic pick stuff that the Knicks could have easily fought through. But the Knicks do switch. J.R. Smith gets stuck on Pierce. Steve Novak feels he has to help for some reason because the Knicks don't actually like that matchup, and he leaves his man wide open for a dunk, and it's way too easy. In the third quarter is when we really started to see the Knicks start to have trouble with shooters, especially Avery Bradley, when the Celtics were running pick and roll stuff with Pierce or Garnett. You can see that the Melo and Chandler switch when they really don't have to, and you end with Chandler guarding Pierce and Melo guarding Garnett down low. And Jason Kidd sees this and feels that he has to help Chandler, while his man, Avery Bradley, goes all the way to the opposite side of the court, with Kidd sort of just pointing him out to the help defense. But the guys helping arrive way too late, and he's got a wide open three on the weak side. So again, here midway through the fourth, the Knicks switch that Pierce-Garnett pick and roll way too easily. There's no real friction there necessary to switch the pick, and that compels Jason Kidd to come over and help, which leaves Jason Terry open, which means J.R. Smith has to rotate, which leaves Bradley open again for a three. So that's the Knicks switching, Kidd feeling he has to help because of that switch, which happened way too easily, and then someone being left open on the weak side of the floor again. And now we're late on the game in a really, really crucial possession, and once again the Knicks switch way too easily a couple of times, and it ends with Tyson Chandler guarding Paul Pierce, which you don't want. And the Knicks know they don't want that, so J.R. Smith goes out to help and completely abandons Bradley again in the process, and Bradley sneaks backdoor for what ended up being a huge layup to put the Celtics up ahead 5. Hate it. So, the Celtics, like a lot of teams this season, identified and exploited one of the Knicks' major defensive weaknesses, and something that's kind of hard to explain. If you set even the softest and most token of picks, they will switch, they'll create mismatches pretty much on purpose, and then they'll send help to supplement those mismatches, which leaves people wide open in other parts of the floor. It's the way a lot of teams have beat the Knicks this year, and it's a chronic problem that we haven't seen any answer to so far. Goddamn Celtics.